Hello my treasures, it's time to get a little bit monstrous in a new Hearthstone deck, aka Thaddius DK. The idea behind this is we'll use Thaddius on even polarity, which will allow us to use Sinister Soul Cage on him, thus giving us a discount on Cage Head down to 0. Use Yelling Yodeler to trigger the DR twice, and then having 2 boars that can hit our opponent's face. And then we're going to use Dead Air to finish off our opponent, essentially giving us 3 more boars on board, where most classes can't actually deal with this. Now for the Mulligan guy, first package that you're going to be looking for is the Plague package. This will allow you to have some type of AoE through Tomb Trader if you get it on early enough, so always keep things like Staff of the Primus in your starting hand. Outside of this, the Excavating package is really good too because it gives you early game removal tools and some board pressure. And finally, you're going to be looking for draw power cards such as Chill Fallen Baron. Now with that all being said, let's look at some games. Okay, time for a game against DK. This should be interesting. I don't know what other DK decks are floating around besides Plague. I know Blood kind of does exist, and it could always be Blood. Blood actually would be a bad matchup for us just because we do rely on quite a few minions to pull off the combo. But as long as we don't get Cage Head or Thaddius removed, we should still be fine. Actually, we can actually win the game without Thaddius still. Cagehead is honestly the only card that really matters too much in this list. Okay. Also worth mentioning, the reason why we have the 2 cost that gives us a random discover for Unholy in the deck was because originally I thought the importance of having additional death growls would have been important, but overall after I've tested this deck a lot, that card could easily be removed to put in some type of other early game removal or maybe some type of AoE, because this deck does struggle a little bit with having enough AoE, at least in my opinion. So something like Unholy Strike or whatever it's called, or Plague Strike, I mean. Okay, we have a lot of... we don't really have too many options here. We're just going to point this out, see if we can get anything cool. Oh, the Scourge could be interesting. We still don't know what type of DK they are. Okay, that's a little bit worrisome. Not too worrisome. Well, I mean, it's probably going to be Steam Cleaner, right? And we haven't used Helya yet, so we probably don't want to put too many plagues in their deck, but we're going to put some more. This should bait out the Steam Cleaner earlier. Hopefully we get the Steam Cleaner down before we make any of our plagues permanent. Like, it's a nice alternate win condition to have in the deck, but you don't necessarily need it, right? Well, there goes the plagues in their deck. Hell yeah! That is the perfect top deck after seeing Steam Cleaner slam down. Just gonna slam this down. They probably still think we're playing Plague DK, of all things. Turns out, no, we are not. Still have no idea what they're playing. It does remind me... I really wanted to look into maybe finding a way to have a bunch of more grains like bounce back to the hand. I don't remember why I ended up not doing it with this. I think I forgot about it because I was like, oh yeah, Cagehead exists, and I haven't done something with Cagehead in a long time, so I wanted to do something with Cagehead once again. There's Patchwork. Patchwork is never fun to see. At least it didn't hit anything. Oh. Though, the way that they're playing makes me almost think that they might actually run Brewmasters in the list. And if they do, we might be a little bit screwed. But at least we don't have any minions in our hand that we really miss if we lose out on them. Please don't give them another Patchwork. That's all I want to see. No more Patchwork, please. Oh, Blood Tap. Card that I completely forgot existed, to be honest. There's a deck there, too. It's one of those things that I feel like consistently it's been like 1 or 2 cards off of being really good. But like hand buff DK is a interesting idea to maybe try to make work once again. Because there are some pretty good buff cards that exist in DK now. Sure, or like neutral minions that you could use. Okay, what do we want to do here? Can't remember how many times we've excavated this game. Let's see what we grab. Okay. Okay, I'd rather not have the plagues, and I'd rather have the zero cost excavating tool. Come on, give us something good. Oh, that. At least that gets patchwork off the board. That makes our life way easier. Okay, there's cold free or cold feet, flame behemoth. Out of all the cards they could have randomly generated off Amalgam of the Deep, that hurts. Wait, they actually were hard running cold feet? They have to be a Reno version of the list. Which is funny because it should be permanently turned offline because we have all the plagues in their deck and they have no way to get rid of them. Boy, oh boy, Reno decks are going to feel awful to play once Steam Cleaner is rotated out. I need to look at like how many Reno decks I've done too, because that's another card that I could easily build a bunch of decks around. I mean, I have already probably built a decent amount of decks, but I would like to do one of each individual class. But I will say this. I think the next deck that we'll probably be trying out, because new year, new me, right? But it's Year of the Dragon. So I want to do a dragon themed deck at least week 1. So maybe expect that Friday. Probably. I guess we can do Tomb Trader number 2. Gets rid of some of the plagues in their deck, which kind of sucks, but you know, better than nothing, right? Wow, we only do. Wow, wait, we only have 3 Reno decks. Huh. Interesting. And I haven't used Reno on a thumbnail yet at all. Oh no, I did. The original Theorycraft video for this set, I did. Okay, so we could slam down Cagehead, then use like one of the dead air, or use the dead air on the Cagehead. But I really kind of just want to keep this in my hand. I don't really need to do that, right? We can deep draw a little bit, see if we can get combo. Okay, Tomb Trader number 2. We want to set this up perfectly. Because if we set this up well enough, we can clear out both our minions. I'm amazed that they're still running the one that was on the left. It's been a long time since I've seen that card, it feels like. Okay, Sunwell. I hope they're feeling well in this new year. Okay, there's the second random minion that they got off Flame of Behemoth. Free boy. So this should get rid of that minion. We're going to save the AoE, make them think we don't have it. I'm going to grab Rat. Rat could be useful in a little bit, but we have no use for it right now. We could actually use it to get basically 2 boars for the price of 1. But the problem with doing that in particular with Dead Air is I'd rather actually just use the Dead Air once we have already revived one of the boars off of Cagehead. Oh, Drum Circle. AoE would be really nice right about now. Okay, Nerubian. I think we hero power. We see what we get off of Nerubian here. I'll take it. Saves our minion, draws a card out of the deck, and we just keep on going. We're at 7 cards. Basically, we need 2 out of the 7, right? That's what we're looking for. We're looking for Cage and Thaddius. We're not really too... Well, Dirty Rat is the one thing that I'm still a little bit worrisome about. But if they get, like, Cagehead out of our hand, that's fine. As long as they don't steal it. So, wait. They aren't Reno? That's so interesting. Alright, let's draw a card. See what we grab. Oh, I really wish the positioning on that was a little bit different. Okay, at least we can draw instantly a card here. We're going to want to get these to a range where we can get rid of everything with our AoE in hand. Come on, give us something good. Top deck, please. Top deck. Something good. Oh, Cagehead. Or, yeah, Cagehead. Soul Cage actually isn't bad. We needed it for a combo. We're so close to combo. We're so close to it. We only have like 4 cards left in the deck. 4 cards. 4 cards, 1 and 4 for Thaddius. And it also has to be on even polarity when we... Well, odd polarity when we draw into it, but even polarity once it's in our hand. But I don't think we're going to have to worry too much about it. There's Yelling Yodeler. I will say though, this deck does run a little bit of issue on board space. Being able to like Yelling Yodeler twice would be really, really nice, but you don't have the room for it. There's Thaddius and it's on odd polarity. Let's go. We got combo. It doesn't even matter if Frostplay puts us up because Thaddius can't go above 10. And then we're going to use our cage and our cage number 2. And we're going to yell from the rooftops of how crazy this combo is. And then we slam both of these into their face. And then we can use Dead Air, getting not 1, not 2, but 3 little piggies that will all hit our opponent's face. And we might as well BM them a little bit. GG. Okay, time for a game against Warrior. Let's see what type of Warrior it is. I know there's 3 Warrior decks floating around. Control, Taunt, and Enrage. I guess a lot of overlap between the 3, to be honest. Just going to pass it back to them. Okay, Verse Rift. I'm curious. Well, actually, no, they could. I could easily see them maybe printing a legendary for Rifts. Just because it's one of those packages that never had a legendary, and the mini set tends to revisit old ideas. The last mini set of a year, I should say. Okay, so they're forging. Cagehead isn't good right now, but it is good later. Alright, just gonna heal. Okay, crop rotation. Oh, we're still running crop rotation. I ended up cutting crop rotation out for the Tome Traders, just because it gives us some type of AoE in the deck. I know it is a little bit late when it comes to... Oh, from the depths, okay. It's a little bit late against Paladin, but we do have a lot of like early game just removal tools. And a lot of early game minions that we can easily abuse too anyways. Okay, gonna shuffle some cards into the deck. Getting Helya online this early is actually really nice because it's just going to add up over time. Unless knowing my luck, it won't. And then, dude, yeah. Alright, let's slam down our skeleton crew. See what we can grab. Oh. Zola's interesting because it's an additional copy of something. I kind of want to get an additional copy of Helya. Okay. Get rid of the minions. Ooh, that would have been nice before we did what we just did. That works too. What was... Oh, actually, probably shouldn't have slammed it down. I just didn't want to waste mana, I guess. Who knows? Maybe it'll force them to actually get rid of our minions on minions that I'd rather them get rid of now compared to other minions, right? Okay, there's Shield Block. Of course, Rift. Bridge Rift. Alright, it doubles. Skeleton Crew. We could use down with the ship. I think we will. I might as well, right? There's no point in not. Sanitize. I forgot the card existed. I don't know why I forgot the card existed. It's actually pretty busted for a forged card. Okay, let's draw a few cards. Okay. Oh, this also means this is the list that we're still using the 2. There's a lot of like little differences between this version and the final version of the list. That actually mattered in a big way through testing. Death Growl. So Death Growl is interesting because you can use Deathrattle in combination with the combo that we're trying to pull off, but you also have to use a dead air before you do so to reset Thaddius to odd polarity, which is actually an interesting little combo that you can do. I really wanted to try to maybe make like Frost DK work with Thaddius. I just didn't have the time, and this was like, I don't know, well, I shouldn't say I didn't have the time. This version of the list felt strong in early testing, so I didn't want to change it. And it's a neat idea anyways. Like, I haven't seen someone try to use Thaddius for Cagehead, and it does feel like a very unexplored deck that can actually do quite a bit. But I am very curious if there's other Thaddius DK lists that you all can find instead of this one. Because there probably are other lists that would actually be as good, if not stronger. Just because DK as a class is so diverse anyways. Okay, so let's slam down Cagehead. We're going to destroy our minions. And then we're going to pass the turn. We're not pulling out the Thaddius combo, I don't think, this game, but we do have the rat, which will get us 2 more boars, at least. Also depends on like what we top deck, and we also get a boar here, right? Okay. We'll get this. Oh, actually, we'll get even more. This should be just GG. Because 13-13. Yeah, this isn't the Thaddius combo, but we're feeling the dead air with some blighted boars. Not 1 little piggy, not 2 little piggies, but 4 little piggies. And it's a GG. Alright, time for a game against Rogue. This opener actually looks pretty decent. Gives us some nice draw power and a pretty decent curve. Sure, we don't have anything to do turn 1, but we're going second, so we could coin something out if we really want to. Oh, that's interesting. That's not a card that I expect out of Rogue, to be honest, anymore. I really do want to make a Pirate Rogue deck, at least before Hooktusk rotates out, so I can play around with her at least one more time. Maybe that'll be the Thaddius list that we'll do for Rogue. Since I already did one Thaddius list in the past, but I think we can wiggle our way into a second one for Rogue. There has to be something there, right? I don't know. I don't want to do too many Thaddius lists, but I also do want to make the most out of it before he rotates out, right? I'll have plenty of time to use Reno in additional lists, so I'm not really too worried about using him too much before the rotation actually happens. Though they could always nerf him into Oblivion, and that could change my point of view. But it does look like we're probably playing against Excavating Rogue, just with a little bit of a pirate package, it looks like. There's actually a lot of different builds of that deck floating around right now. I know someone made a weapon-based version, which is cool, because I've been wanting to do something with weapons, too. Alright, let's get rid of their 4-3. See what we can randomly get. I'm going to grab Soul Breaker here. We don't have too many minions that we care about them having an additional attack, because we basically want our minions to always be destroyed by our opponent, because the main minions in the deck are Deathrattle minions, so. Oh man, I that's one of those things where you got to feel a little bit bad for them for getting that card off of Plagiarizer. It does prove that Plagiarizer in the current Hearthstone just isn't good, because too many decks rely on 1 or 2 different packages that don't really do anything outside of it. But I will say the Excavating package actually increases the playability of, I think, Plagiarizer by a little bit too. Probably not by much, but at least in my opinion, it increases the playability just because of the fact that you have a chance to run into another class, a high chance that they'll be using Excavating cards. I don't know if you'd want to use more Thief cards in Binding Rogue, but I mean, you could always, right? Because I am assuming this is going to be Excavating Rogue, and we have seen a little bit of it, the Excavating package. Blood Boil, I think, is what we'll grab. It doesn't really do much right now, but later on it can act as a big heal. And then we can also discover a random unholy card. I'm gonna grab, I think, the second Staff of the Primus. You could also grab Dead Air. Dead Air could be interesting. It's good for when we're not using Thaddius to pull off the full combo. Because if you don't use Thaddius for the full combo, then you end up being able to use Dead Air on the same turn as slamming down Cagehead, and then you get the Cagehead into the pool for the Rat, which is always good. Or if your opponent gets rid of the 9/9, you then have the 9/9 with charge in the pool for the Rat. There's just a lot of flexibility with this deck and how you pull off the combo, which makes it actually really fun to play. Like, this is one of the more fun Thaddius lists that I've made, I would say, and it actually probably is one of the more competitive ones too. Which is interesting because DK isn't really the home that most people would think of when they think of Thaddius, right? Thaddius tends to be, I'm trying to think. Thaddius is usually like associated with Druid or Warlock as a overall theme or a card to include in lists. But every class at this point, because of like how they nerfed, quote unquote, nerfed Thaddius, can actually make use of them. And that's my goal on this channel. We're going to make sure we always, or we can showcase all the fun little possibilities. I don't upload enough for that to always be the case, but I like showcasing some of my favorite cards, especially before they rotate out. That's honestly half the reason why we've been doing so many Thaddius lists. I want to use him as much as humanly possible before he goes bye-bye, since I don't really play Wild. I do, though, want to start playing Wild if Twist comes back, because I do want to start using or getting more and more wild cards by using Twist as a way to get more wild cards. But all right, let's pop this. This looks bad, but we're going to pop this. I'm curious if this is going to give them Hook Tusk or if it's going to give them Tess. Tess is better for us, but Hook Tusk, they haven't played enough Pirates for Hook Tusk to be a thing, I don't think. Oh. They'll rock. Fun. Also, I will say, like, if we look at my recent uploads, I haven't done Thaddius that much recently, right? It's been a few weeks. I mean, okay, the deck I put out last Friday or Saturday, that was technically a Thaddius list, but it didn't really need Thaddius in it, so. But you gotta have fun when you gotta have fun, right? All right, we can put down Cagehead. We have the 1 coin to get Dead Air online. Let's just do this. You know, part of me thinks it would have actually been a little bit smarter to actually use the location on Cagehead, because if we had used it on Cagehead, then it would have survived probably this turn. But okay, so they're just going to bounce it back. That's not going to do what you need it to do, my friend. And I guess, well, actually, no, never mind. I was going to say, we don't necessarily need Cagehead to survive, but Yelling Yodeler would be really, really, really nice to get on top of that. There's Flash Heal. You know, we just need a few boars to survive, and then we should be good, right? Skeleton Crew. I don't think that's Excavating number 4, because if it, that could, is it? Oh, hey, it is. Okay, never mind. GG. Get the boar. Number 1. Wail on their face. We're gonna make them feel a little dead inside. And GG. With the charge for more hero power. Alright, now that we're through the games, let's discuss my final thoughts of the deck. So, across the 30 games I played with the deck, I had a 50% win rate, which was higher than I expected. There are a lot of really fun little interactions within this deck that make it incredibly strong. First up is the Excavating package. It's actually incredibly strong in this deck because of the Rat. The Rat allows you to easily revive either Cage Hedge's Boar or Thaddius, both of which are incredibly strong, and if you revive the boar off of this and you have dead air in your hand, you basically get 3 boars for the price of 1, which is incredibly strong. If you, like me, and you've been looking for a deck for DK to use Thaddius in, this is probably one of the better homes for him. Overall, I'm really happy with how this deck turned out, and there's only one class remaining out of all of the classes in the game that I haven't done a Thaddius deck with, which is Mage. So if you have any ideas, let me know down below. But besides that, if you enjoyed the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, bye-bye.